Generative AI is becoming the next big thing when it comes to AI and technology. And it is profound on how platforms like DALI, GPT-3 and OpenAI and how are they leveraging and enhancing that science to really open our minds and open our perspectives about what generative AI can do. I would be putting my hand up and I use generative AI, whether it is to create NFTs or to have my thoughts cleared when it comes to writing or structuring my content in a particular way. If you really take a step back, platforms like GPT-3 can and is becoming a bigger threat to education industry. Education industry is going through a massive transformation. The last 3 years specifically has proven and has really disrupted the education industry. It's been a pendulum which has been rocking back and forth, and there is more to come. It's not ended here. Yes, there are certain downturns happening within the edtech industry, but I would say there were certain anomalies which happened within the industry, but they are kind of coming down to a new normal and a new paradigm, which is bound to continue. But there are many age-old practices still which are continue to exist within the edtech or the education industry, which are getting disrupted by technologies like generative AI. Recently, Brenton Kenkel, an assistant professor of political science at Vanderbilt University, realized and found out that all the assignments by the students were done by a GPT-3 platform. And it is not just the specific university or the assignment. If you go and check out on Reddit, there are so many conversations happening about the leverage of GPT-3 platforms to complete assignments within the universities. To test the application of GPT-3 and to see the powers of it, recently a student resource and counseling platform conducted a test where they invited a certain level of panelists to evaluate the outcomes, and then they brought in certain professors to write an assignment, and they had the same type of assignment with the specific keywords were given to the GPT-3 platform. And both these outcomes or the outputs from GPT-3 and the assignments from the three professors were evaluated by the panel. In fact, the panel came back with an astonishing response that there was not much of a difference or a gap, or the way that the thinking was almost same. However, there was some minute negatives that the GPT-3 outcome was awkward, blunt, and a little bit vague. And I have seen that personally when I have used the GPT-3 platforms like Descript or Jasper, and there are many more. You would see a little bit of vagueness, which does come across, a little bit of awkwardness or the usage of language. But candidly, in that research, the grammar, the punctuation, the language, and the construction of the sentences were almost benchmarked similarly. So where does this all take, which side of the coin are you on? Are you on the good side or on the bad side? So let me share my perspective where I am today. And I have shared this perspective. In fact, I met a writer and I shared the powers of this GPT-3 platform where I demonstrated, and it was a little bit awkward that this specific writer was actually writing a book. And I said, okay, what's the status? And she mentioned that she's still in the process of writing and there are certain things which need to be uncovered. And I recommended, hey, have you evaluated any of the GPT-3 platforms? And she was surprised. What is GPT-3? I actually shared with her that perspective, and she was amazed that how, with limited input, you can at least have 300, 500 words of an article getting created. And that led to a discussion which I shared my perspective, and I'm going to share it here today. The first thing, I don't see that as a bane to an education industry. In fact, from my perspective, GPT-3 and platforms like that can help specifically students for whom English is not the first language to at least get the thoughts and the in a specific structure and can help them immensely, while they can use their creativity, their thinking to structure the content and structure the thought process in a specific way. That will definitely help you and will help those students. So that's my first perspective. The second, for many of us who are into writing or who may not be that creative in creating images for NFTs and all, platforms like GPT can be a jumpstart, can give us that springboard, which through limited inputs can give us some starting thoughts or starting perspectives, which we can then take that initial thought, whether it is image or a text, and can enhance it further. And that can really help, in our endeavors, whether you are writing a book or a blog or, creating NFTs or anything you want, you can think of, that can be a big opportunity for you as an individual. The third perspective, in my mind, the content becoming so important, for organizations specifically, if they have to start thinking about marketing and marketing personalization, it can get very cumbersome. It can get very costly to really generate content or personalized content at a minute or n is equal to 1 level. Today, using generative AI platform, you can actually go ahead and create mass content with the right guidelines and the structure, and leverage that content to really enable your marketing endeavors to that n is equal to 1 in a very beautiful and a profound way. So these are my 3 perspectives on the future and how can GPT-3 really enhance the future of education and not be a bane. Yes, there are certain acceptables and non-acceptables as you go along the journey. Definitely, I would not recommend any student just use that platform to get away from studying or get away from not doing their assignments on their own, but use that platforms like these as a springboard, as an idea board, which can help them structure their content or their thoughts in a specific way and then build their own unique platform. So hope this content was helpful, and talk to you next week.